I think it's time to break down all of the gear that is going to hopefully carry me across 43 miles to conquer the 4-state challenge. Cheers, y'all. How's it going? This weekend, I am officially taking on the 4-state challenge with my coach. Quick recap for those of you who are unfamiliar, the 4-state challenge is a challenge that exists on the Appalachian Trail, covering the stretch that runs between Virginia and Pennsylvania, a 43-mile stretch of the Appalachian Trail where if you run it consecutively in under 24 hours, you can say that you ran through 4 different states in 24 hours. Specifically, my coach and I are going to be running north to south, so we will be starting in Pennsylvania, running through Maryland, into West Virginia, through West Virginia, and into Virginia, thus accomplishing the 4-state challenge. We're taking it on this Sunday. This is sort of a trial run for my eventual 100-miler attempt later on in June, middle of June, for the Mohican 100-miler. So bringing a lot of gear that I'm hoping I can use on that race to test it out on the trail for the 4-state challenge. If you're thinking about attempting some sort of long duration trail endurance challenge, I hope you find this helpful. If you do, please give this video a thumbs up. It will help others find the video as well. And if this is your first time on the channel, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you'll click that subscribe button. Definitely subscribe if you want to see the full recap from the 4-state challenge itself. I will be getting plenty of footage on the run. That being said, let's get to the important stuff. Let's go through all of the gear. I'm going to try to break this down into different categories, taking a note from fellow YouTuber Run Free and Strong, who just completed his first 100-miler. I'm not going to go that deep into the categories, but I have tried to organize it into kind of 3 areas of focus. 1 is just going to be clothing or apparel that I will be wearing on the run. 2 is going to be the actual gear that I will be using, not necessarily clothing items, but gear that I'm going to be using to help me along the way. I guess it's 4 categories. So the third one is going to be fuel, what I'm bringing for fuel. And then 4th will just be sort of like first aid, kind of hygiene stuff that I'm going to bring with me as well. Just sort of miscellaneous gear that is hopefully going to assist me along the way. I'm going to start with the clothes because it's right in front of me, and that way I can clear some room on the desk so that I can better spread some of this stuff out. As far as clothes, I'm trying to keep it relatively simple. A huge consideration here is just what the weather is going to be. It looks like we'll have clear skies, which is good, but it does look like it is going to be quite hot, in the 80s. Not ideal, but also good practice for the Mohican 100-miler, which is going to be in June, so I assume we are going to have relatively warm temperature as well. You're going to see a lot of orange, obviously celebrating the BibRave Pro ambassadorship, but I'll just kind of start head to toe and basically what's laying out in front of me. So always have knockaround sunglasses. These are the knockaround sport premiums. The biggest difference for knockaround sport sunglasses is they have some rubber padding in the nose, so it just keeps it nice and snug on the face while you're running. So I will have these for sun protection on my eyes on the run. For hat, also for sun protection, I have this nice custom BibRave Buff Pack Run cap. I have a review of the Pack Run cap, which I'll link to if you're interested. I really like these hats, especially for trail efforts. They are incredibly lightweight, incredibly breathable. They still provide the sun protection of the brim, but in terms of minimalist headwear and just fabric, you can't, I don't think, get any more minimal than the Buff Pack Run cap. So really big fan of this material and this hat, so I will be bringing that along for the ride. Moving on down, I'll do shirt next. Again, you're gonna see a lot of BibRave orange, but just a tech t-shirt, nothing special here. I thought about going tank top because it is going to be super warm. I'm bringing a tank top with me just in case, but on trail runs, I do usually appreciate just having the sleeves so that when I'm bumping up against brush or anything like that for ticks and other things, I just like to have a little bit more skin protection. Down to shorts, you've heard me talk about these in the past probably if you've been following me for a while. These are just the Brook Sherpa shorts. These are by far my favorite running shorts I've ever owned. They are just super comfortable, lightweight, tons of pockets, tons of functionality. I have just never found a pair of shorts that is this comfortable. The lining and everything, super supportive, just everything that I'm looking for in a running short. So bringing the Sherpa shorts along for the ride as well. Another split decision for me is going to be the socks that I'm wearing. I am bringing some CEP compression socks. I wore these for Bandera. Again, I'm opting for a little bit more skin coverage for this run. I thought about just some low socks because I do own a pair of kind of low cut toe socks. I do love the toe socks, but again, I think for tick protection and just protection from brush and things like that on the trail, I'll appreciate a little bit of extra length. So bringing the CEP compression socks for that purpose. And then of course, I just did a review of these. If you are interested, I just recently purchased the Ultra Lone Peak 5s. This is only the second pair of trail shoes that I've ever owned, but I am already in love with them. They are so comfortable. I am hopeful that these will be my shoes for the Mohican 100-miler, so I feel like this will obviously honestly be a great trial run for them, see how they hold up on the longer duration run, see how my feet are feeling after that run. So very much looking forward to giving these a test on a much longer duration trail effort. So Ultra Lone Peak 5s, I'll link to the review of that if you are interested. And then last but not least, I am gonna bring a buff along for the run as well, bringing this for facial coverage in case I need to use any of the public restrooms or anything like that along the trail, but also if the temperatures start to get to me, we'll be looking forward to the ability to pack this with ice to keep on the back of my neck to hopefully help keep me cool on the run. So I'll keep this in my backpack as well. That should cover it for apparel. So now we will jump into the gear that I'm bringing with me. The first piece of gear that I want to feature, again, an item that I've reviewed in the past. This is the Orange Mud Gear Vest Pro. I love the Orange Mud Gear Vest Pro. Again, something that got me through the Bandera race. It's got a ton of pockets, tons of storage space, but not too much. It's basically the combination between like a runner's vest and an endurance pack. Super lightweight, but also a lightweight option that packs a punch, has lots of available storage space for some of the extra gear that I'm gonna need to carry with me for those longer duration runs. And I chose to customize this a little bit in the way that I wear it. So I am going to bring with me, I have a 600 milliliter flask. I bought this separate from the vest. It doesn't come with, but I can fit this in just one of the chest pockets on the front. I will probably have tailwind in there, and then a 1 liter bladder, which will go on the back that has a tube that comes around to the front as well. So I'll have dual bottles, or a bottle and a bladder. That should hopefully be plenty of hydration for us. There are water stops every, I think, 5 or so miles along the Appalachian Trail, the specific section that we are running. We will also have a crew following us along as well if we need any additional support, but I think I should be fine with those two. Next up, another piece of gear that I will be testing for the Mohican 100 miler, some Black Diamond Distant Carbon Z trekking poles. I have never run with trekking poles in the past, but I think I will likely need them for the 100 miler, so this will be a good test of their function. These are fixed length, just assemble them real quick. Whoops. And then pull to lock everything in place. The nice thing I forgot to feature on the Orange Mud vest, again, something that I customized about the vest, you can buy these little attachments for the trekking poles, so I'll be able to strap these basically on either side, on either chest strap, so that they fit nice and snug. So I'll be able to just strap these just like this on each side of the Orange Mud gear vest. Overall, just looking forward to giving trekking poles a test. Again, have never run with them in the past. So trekking poles coming with me, obviously a headlamp. Hopefully, I'm not sure that I will need this, but I'll be bringing this with some backup batteries as well. It just takes 3 AAAs. This was just a very inexpensive headlamp I bought off Amazon. Again, got me through Bandera, so I think it should be fine in this case. Depending on how dark it is when we start, might throw this on just for safety purposes. And then ideally, if we can keep up a decent pace, we'll be finishing well before sunset. And shouldn't need the headlamp, but obviously I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And last but not least, of course, I will be recording the entire adventure for YouTube purposes, so I'll be bringing the GoPro 9 with the little monopod extendable arm so that I can get some nice footage of us running this challenge out on the trail to create that awesome YouTube video that hopefully you all are looking forward to after this adventure. Next up, gonna talk about fuel. I have most of what I need. There's a few last minute items I'm gonna need to pick up, or really just one main last minute item I need to pick up. I mentioned before, I'll be bringing tailwind along for the run. I haven't purchased that yet. I'm running out to a running store later today to grab that, so I have that for the run. Just very basic nutrition stuff that I'm keeping with me. This isn't a super long endurance run. Again, 43 miles, it'll definitely take us some time, but I think based on my experience running Bandera, I should be fine just getting by with plenty of gels, as well as just some a little bit of solid food to kind of mix things up here and there. I'm a huge fan of honey stinger gels. Definitely bringing these for the Mohican 100 miler as well. So I have plenty of these that I can take with me on the pack, as well as a few that I'll keep in the support van just in case I need to restock. And then if I am interested in solid food, again, I've got Honey Stinger waffles, huge fan of these, several different flavors in case I get any kind of flavor fatigue. And then I've also got a couple full-size Cliff Bars as well that I can enjoy at any of our aid station or support crew stops. And then some miniature Cliff Bars as well that I can take along for the ride. I'm looking to shoot for probably 200 to 300 calories per hour. So gels combined with some of the Honey Stinger waffles, and then also the Tailwind, plenty to get me through this run. And then definitely looking forward to that post-run feast when we finish to just refuel on calories. So let's get fuel out of the way. And then the last category is just sort of that miscellaneous category of gear, first aid stuff, just some other random things that I think will help us along the run. Map of the Appalachian Trail. Being someone who has been lost while out hiking because I was using an outdated map, was lost for several hours and had to get rescued by park rangers. I always make sure I bring the most updated map I can to avoid that ever happening in the future. So have the Appalachian Trail map with me as well. And then I also just printed out kind of these helpful cheat sheets for my coach and I, one for each of us, that has sort of different stops along the trail, as well as the distance or the splits between each stop, the total distance along the route, and then if there are any kind of features at that specific stop. So I've color coded this. Everything in blue has a water source at that stop, and then green is any kind of like scenic overlook or anything like that that we might want to take advantage of. That's navigation, and now we kind of have the first aid gear that I'll be bringing along. Obviously, always going to have Body Glide to help with chafing. I've used this on my feet in the past. It's been pretty good, obviously for those sensitive areas that you don't want to worry about chafing or anything like that. And then for ultras as well, I often use it just to kind of rub anywhere there's going to be a contact with a strap or anything like that from my running vest. I've never had issues with chafing. Again, always knock on wood. Never had issues with chafing from the Orange Mud gear vest, but better safe than sorry. Again, would rather have it and not need it. So I'll definitely grease up where the chest straps go, where the bladder will be sitting between my shoulder blades, just to be on the safe side. And then for the longer duration runs, have the squirrel's nut butter as well to put on my feet between my toes, just to hopefully avoid any blistering. Another piece of gear that is not here that I need to pick up when I get my tailwind is the nipple band-aids. Cannot stress enough how important that is for me. Again, I'll use the Body Glide for that area, but then I also, just an extra layer of protection, like to put some sport band-aids, high adhesive band-aids over top. I only used one set of band-aids for Bandera and did have some pretty significant chafing by the end of the race. I didn't notice it while I was running, but when I jumped in the shower after the run, holy hell. If you've ever jumped in the shower with chafing that you didn't know about, you know how shocking and painful that can be. So I'll have some extra band-aids in case I decide I want to just go ahead, switch those out, apply some more Body Glide to be on the safe side. Next up, I've got just a spot stick of sunscreen. I made it out all right after Bandera without having to put on a crazy amount of sunscreen. This worked really well and it fits nicely in the pack, just right in one of the front pockets. It's not super greasy. I just picked this up at a gas station in Texas when I went down for the race. It's literally just like one of those little foam. You kind of just tap it on the area that you want to cover. So I can apply this while I'm running. Just take the cap off, put it on my arms, rub it in real quick. So I'll have that with me since it is going to be such a hot day and likely some intense sun. And then last minute items that ideally I won't need, but again, something that I want to make sure I have with me on the run. Always want to bring some emergency toilet paper in case any kind of emergency arises on the trail. And then of course, a first aid kit as well. I always pack this for runs. It's just got the basics in it: gauze, ointments, some pain medicine, everything like that, medical tape, scissors, etc. Always want to make sure you just have basic medical supplies with you, again, just in case anything arises that you may need it for. And that's it. That is all of the gear that I am bringing with me on this run. Of course, being I run on beer, there will be some alcoholic beverages for the finish line of the course, some celebratory beers, which I will reveal once we finish the run itself. I am just so excited for this run. Just to get a better idea of where I'm at fitness-wise, getting ready to really start dialing into the training for the Mohican 100 miler. I think this is going to be a little bit of a wake-up call. It's definitely going to highlight some of the weaker areas that I need to focus on training for this 100-mile effort, but I also think it will be a good confidence booster to be on my feet, log some solid time on feet, log a solid long duration endurance effort. Again, just so that I know what I'm capable of, I have that experience and I can use that to really influence and educate myself on what target areas I need to focus on for the rest of the training for the Mohican 100 miler. Very excited about the run. If you have any questions about it, please leave those down in the comments below. And again, if you want to see the full recap, the coverage from the course itself, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you don't already. Please give us a thumbs up. And if you click that bell, you'll get a notification anytime I post a video in the future. But as always, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you are enjoying your training as much as I am, and I will see you on the other side of this run. Cheers.